What's going on, YouTuber? This your boy G coming back to you from the 432, and in this video I'd really like to give my overall thoughts and opinions to Steven Spielberg's Ready Player One. I just barely saw it for the very first time, and folks, let me just say this right off the bat. This movie had it all. It was mysterious, adventurous, dramatic, and most importantly, very nostalgic. I really like the idea of the film being set in the distant future of the year 2045, but with all of these vintage, retro, old school throwbacks, ladies and gentlemen, especially Back to the Future. And folks, really quick, I'd like to take this time to give a big shout out to my man Tim Rangel, for inspiring me to watch this movie. He was even nice enough to lend me the Blu-ray version of this movie so I can watch it. He's the man, folks, I'm telling you. I'll make sure to bring this back to you on Monday morning, my friend. I appreciate it. One more time for my man Tim, everybody. Big round of applause. And for everyone else watching, thank you as well for tuning into the Lopez Rewind. I mainly focus on the Dragon Ball franchise here on this channel, but this movie was too good not to talk about, and in my opinion, this movie had one of the greatest intros I've seen since Back to the Future's intro with Marty McFly making his debut skateboarding through Hill Valley as Huey Lewis in the News plays in the background. That's the power of love. So really quick, if you haven't seen Ready Player One, go ahead and stop or keep watching because there will be spoilers in this information. Get ready for them. So like I said earlier in the video, Ready Player One had one of the greatest intros I've ever seen since Back to the Future. Van Halen's Jump song fit perfectly over our main character, Wade Watts, who was basically narrating the first couple minutes of the film, letting us know how the world is in the year 2045. And while he's doing so, he takes us into the VR world called the Oasis, created by a man named James Halliday. But to make a long story short for you guys, we find out that James Halliday dies and leaves 3 keys that hold clues to finding an Easter egg that Mr. Halliday left inside the Oasis. And whoever finds it gets complete control over his very own Oasis, the virtual reality world you see here on your screen. So after a quick 5-year time skip, no one has been able to find the first key, because in order to get the first key, everyone thinks they have to win a death race through a city with freaking King Kong trying to smash you to bits. Intense, ladies and gentlemen. But we see Wade driving none other than the famous DeLorean from Back to the Future win this race, but not necessarily going forward, but backwards after solving one of James Halliday's riddles. How ironic, folks, especially with using the DeLorean. But while all of this went down, we got to meet 3 of the other main characters that also play significant roles, and they are H and Artemis. H is seen being Wade's long-term VR friend, and Artemis is seen being a lone she-wolf who ends up teaming up with Wade and H after the first key was found. We also get to meet the Sixters, who are basically players hired by a company called the IOI to literally go in the game on payroll to try and get the Easter egg. Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff, folks. Because in my opinion, this is exactly what would happen today. Some asshole business owner will more than likely try something like this if this ever came to life in our real world. But overall, very realistic, folks. But things start to spiral out of control around the sequence of finding the second key, because our fellow Wade Watts virtually falls in love with Artemis. The two were spending a lot of time together and even went on a date together, which was an amazing scene if you ask me.
Old school.
Wade actually ends up telling Artemis his real name, which causes an explosive action scene that displays the two working beautifully together. Both make it out alive thanks to the Zemeckis cube, which was an awesome tool, by the way, if you ask me. But Artemis quickly says her farewell and leaves Wade for a while, where we then got to witness Wade's destruction begin to unfold in the real world after the IOI found out who Wade was and where he lived. But this is what ultimately led Wade to meet Artemis, aka Samantha, in the real world. You couldn't help but feel happy for these two. They were undoubtedly into each other, only Samantha was too worried about her appearance. She apologizes to Wade for leaving him in the Oasis because she thought she would scare him away by her appearance. But my man Wade didn't get scared about how she looked. He was just happy to see her and be with her in the real world, regardless of how different it was. But this is what actually caused Samantha, aka Artemis, to figure out the second clue for the second key. We then see our heroes reunite with a little extra help this time. Our heroes find themselves in the classic horror movie called The Shining, where the gang successfully attains the second key after experiencing their own fair share of near-death experiences. And folks, I'm sorry to say, but I personally haven't seen The Shining myself, but I will this year during October. So y'all make sure to stay tuned for a review or reaction video over the famous horror film called The Shining. But to make a longer story short, the movie brings out the big guns in the third and final act to finding the third key, which will lead someone or something to Halliday's Easter egg. In this third act, an all-out war breaks loose within the Oasis. So many iconic characters are seen kicking ass in the scene, but what caught my eye the most were the battles that the Iron Giant and Gundam Wing had with Mecha Godzilla. But while all of this is going down, we come to find out that the third and final key to finding Halliday's Easter egg is actually in the old school Atari video game called Adventure, where Wade goes on to inform everybody that Adventure was the first video game to possess a digital Easter egg hidden inside the game. So after we see Wade defeat Sorrento in an old school Street Fighter style fight and get that jaw-dropping moment before Wade comes back to life, we see Wade finish Halliday's Easter egg hunt that literally took a video game sequence on top of video game sequences with movie cameos to get to, if that makes any sense. But at the end of the movie, Wade ends up meeting and speaking with Halliday himself and gets full control of the Oasis. But folks, really quick, I just want to say this scene actually brought tears to my eyes in a weird way, because even after going through everything that went down with our heroes, we are quickly reminded that at the end of the day, it was all just a game, a virtual reality game. None of it ever truly existed. But James Halliday leaves Wade as well as the viewers with a powerful message by saying that reality is the only thing that is real, which closed off the movie with Wade revealing that he actually split the control over the Oasis with his clan, with our heroes, ladies and gentlemen. That's awesome. And they even went on to shut down the Oasis on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which everybody despised them of. But Wade wanted everybody to realize something. He wanted them to realize that people should spend more time in the real world. After all he went through with his friends, he took James Halliday's message to heart. Reality is the only thing that's real. Folks, once again, this was an amazing movie with an amazing intro. Beautifully written, beautifully directed by Steven Spielberg. Awesome, awesome movie. I can definitely see a second movie coming out called Ready Player 2. It's kind of predictable of what's going to happen if they do make a second one, because they shut it down for Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I'm sure there was probably an obsessive gamer who probably didn't like that idea. So he or she, or maybe it, will more than likely take it upon themselves to take over the Oasis by challenging Wade and our heroes. But for now, who knows? All we can do is theorize and speculate. Let me know what you guys think about this movie review in the comment section down below. This was my first one. It's a little sloppy, but I'm sure I'll get better the more and more I do it. And like I said, I mainly cover the Dragon Ball franchise in this channel. And with the new Dragon Ball Superhero movie coming around the corner, I will more than likely be doing a review video over it. But for the meantime, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. And if you're new to this channel, you can hit like, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned for the next video. Until then, peace, love, and hair grease, my friends. This your boy G. I'm out.